Hey guys, I'm back and I'm here today to talk about this very big, powerful, unique, like super rare conjunction of planets that we have coming together this weekend into next week in the sky. Uranus, the North Node, and Mars coming into alignment, coming into conjunction in the sign of Taurus. As I've been saying, if you guys have been following my channel, following my work, I've been talking about this aspect for a while as it's been building throughout the course of the past several weeks, all summer really. But this is a big one, you guys, and these three planets have not come together at the exact same degree in the sign of Taurus in 2,300 years. So we were in the previous age, hardcore, like really just transitioning into the age of Pisces ish. It's a long time ago, so you can't really be too sure. But around, that point in time, the last time that this aspect came into fruition, and here we are again at our shift of ages that is ongoing right now as we are in a period of time that is transitioning us out of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Now we're talking about Uranus. This is the planet that rules Aquarius. This is also the planet ruling the Great Awakening. Uranus is the great rectifier, like the galactic fixer. Uranus brings silver lining and blessings in disguise, and Uranus is also the expect the unexpected planet. When we're dealing with Uranus, we're talking about sort of like some radical authenticity in alignment with organic, genuine, authentic potential. Uranus wants to help us achieve a condition in life that allows our unique individuality and our authentic truth to like grow and blossom and bloom so that we can come into our highest potential and really like activate our destiny and be operating out of our highest octaves of consciousness, which is another thing that Uranus resonates to. Uranus is really like higher octave Mercury energy, very fast paced. When we are dealing with an highlighted and activated Uranus, things are probably happening very fast, very unexpectedly, sort of just like hitting us from nowhere, hitting us out of the blue. And it can feel a little bit reckless and out of control, especially when we are simultaneously dealing with Mars, the planet ruling energy and action and behavior, what we're actually doing, the actions that we're taking. Also, courage, willpower, motivation, inspiration, passion, strength, assertiveness, but also aggression, anger, war, battle, conflict, fights, violence, that type of stuff too, represented when we have Mars activated. That's what Mars represents, right? The fire planet, the red planet, passion, motivation, willpower, courage, strength, divine masculine. But the flip side of that is also the warrior energy, the warrior archetype, ready for a battle, ready to fight, Mars. And then we're talking about the North Node, you guys. This is according, in terms of the Western model, the Western perception of things, and along the lines of more evolutionary astrology, the North Node is sort of like the destiny point, the direction where the hand of God is like leading us to. It's the next phase of growth. It's the next chapter in the lesson plan. It's sort of, the what our soul is striving to learn and experience in this lifetime, what we are looking to gain a better ability to like understand and align with and work within over the course of this life. It's usually what is very foreign to us, what is not very comfortable for us, and it's obviously in opposition to the South Node, right? The North Node and the South Node, polar oppositions to each other. The North Node ruling that fate, that destiny, that lesson plan, that phase of growth that is necessary to sort of do the Uranus thing and develop that potential and activate our destiny. But it's being, sort of countered by the South Node on the other side. And the South Node represents the past and karma, what we're growing out of, like what we're coming from, if the North Node is what makes us uncomfortable because it's unfamiliar, the South Node is what we are very comfortable with, very like used to dealing with, used to navigating. And a lot of times it's like sort of hard to break ourselves out. It's like the patterns, the routines, the programming that we've become accustomed to over the course of not only this life, but perhaps previous lives as well, what we've been carrying with us, our karma. And so when we're talking about, the polarities, the North and the South Node, the South Node is a lot of times what is holding us back because of this level of comfort and this level of experience and this level of personal resonance and attraction to what we've already experienced. And it's what we are also releasing, having to break ourselves out of so that we can go in the trajectory, in the direction of the North Node and experience this phase of growth in alignment with the blueprint blueprint of our soul. Now, that's like more according towards like the Western and the evolutionary models of astrology. According to the more ancient and the Vedic Eastern models of astrology, the North Node is referenced as sort of like the head of the dragon, and a lot of times it can create an energy where we become very like obsessive and compulsive about something generally, and it's known to amplify and magnify energy. So, really any way we slice it, when we're talking about the North Node also wrapped up in this combination today, there's some type of divinely aligned like destiny that is interwoven into the things that are playing out right now. And we may feel just like a compulsive drive to do something, to take some type of action along the lines of this Uranus Mars energy that is present. And the North Node, this is also amplifying and magnifying the conjunction of Mars and Uranus. So this is pretty groundbreaking, you guys, like foundation shifting energy. We're also talking about this conjunction happening in the sign of Taurus, which is an earth sign. When transits and activations are taking place in earth signs, you guys, this is when things are actually happening. Like, this is when things on the ground are shifting and changing and coming into fruition, and we are actually seeing like genuine things taking place, because this is the earth signs. This is not air signs. This is not about like our ideas and what we're thinking. This is not fire signs. This is not like our creative energy and what's inspiring us and firing us up and giving us passion. This is not water energy. This is not our emotions and our feelings. This is like tangible, physical stuff happening. And also in the sign of Taurus, of course, this is gonna probably have to do with resources, finances, relationships, supply chains, money, food, projects, like values or valuables generally, or the value of things. This could also bring some really like powerful storms, tornadoes, electrical storms, fires, earthquakes, volcanoes, this type of stuff, like very likely and prominent when we have Mars and Uranus and the North Node coming together in these earth signs. But just generally, like big financial and economic shifts, big shifts to the foundations of things. Taurus is a sign where we lay a foundation. It's like where we use our own resources and our own creativity and our own two hands to sort of put in some work and effort into building something that can give us a sense of security and stability and material comfort. And that's sort of where the money and abundance aspects of things also come into Taurus. It's also about things that grow from the ground, food. It rules everything that's like coming from the earth. And so all of these type of things are in a period right now where they could be undergoing some very spontaneous, out of the blue type of shifts, just sort of coming through and bulldozing the state of our current circumstances, whatever they might be. So definitely important transit, definitely important activation to give a little bit of extra time to. And this energy is going to be coloring the context of our entire weekend this weekend as it's playing out. Again, it's happening July 31st through August 1st, 2022. I'm going to talk specifically about the charts as well when this energy is playing out, how the chart is looking when Mars moves into alignment at the same degree as Uranus and the North Node. And then also I'm going to be looking at the chart for when Uranus and Mars come to the exact to the minute conjunction, come to their Kazemi moment in the chart that is present at that point in time as well. So we're going to look at two charts, but first I want to start by just kind of like giving the basic indications for these two planets, specifically Mars and Uranus being in a conjunction together, and with the North Node there. That just means that, like I said, there is a fated, destined dimension of what is unfolding in this energy, which we already know because we're talking about Uranus, the great fixer, the great rectifier, bringing blessings in disguise, trying to put things back in alignment with their authentic truth. But the hand of God is playing a role in this situation, in this realignment right now as well. And also this energy is being amplified. It's being multiplied by, magnified by the presence of the North Node there as well. And the North Node in the conjunction to Mars and Uranus together in the sign of Taurus, like this could also, again, be creating a bit of like compulsion or just this like very strongly enhanced internalized drive to behave along the lines of what is indicated through the Mars-Uranus conjunction. So let's talk about the Mars-Uranus conjunction, and then you can sort of apply those North Node overlays to it and, use that maybe as a little bit of a roadmap over this weekend and the next few days as this energy is playing out. But anyways, Uranus, just generally forming a conjunction to Mars, there's no transit. Like, this is the ultimate transit. There's no other transit that represents sudden upsets, rash behavior, surprising incidents like this one does. This one is just the ultimate Mars, things happening quickly. Uranus, things happening surprisingly, unexpectedly, out of the blue. Mars is our action. Mars is our behavior. The North Node is what we're feeling compelled to do, and Uranus is just rash actions, things happening suddenly and unexpectedly, surprising incidents ongoing. Energy, when we have Mars ruling our energy and Uranus, this electrified planet, pretty much energy like exploding everywhere all over the place when we have these two bodies in a conjunction together, and usually in some very surprising ways and forms. Which again is why, like, first of all, very hard to concentrate in this energy, also very hard to keep a plan, but just expect the unexpected, and the energy is just electrified, and it's like bolts of lightning sort of like hitting everything with this energy, and it just can make some really surprising and unexpected things happen. Generally, it is very difficult to make plans because so much is happening just like out of the blue without any warning. So much is just like hitting us out of nowhere that not only making a plan, but definitely being able to like adhere to any type of schedule or plan or agreement or arrangement or anything along those lines, probably gonna have some difficulty being followed through with in this energy, because again, stuff is just like coming at us left and right. In its clear expression though, in the clearest expression of this energy, a sudden desire to assert your freedom and kick away any or all limitations and break free. That's basically the bottom line when we have Mars coming into the conjunction with Uranus. It is a need to assert ourselves and a need to break free from any type of limitations that are like restricting our freedom in any type of way, asserting our own personal freedom and individuality in this energy, in this transit. Pretty much the name of the game. It's also a transit of rebellion. Uranus, Aquarius, the sign that rules rebellion, and it can indicate difficulties with anyone that is trying to impose limitations or restrictions or be over domineering or over controlling on us. Relationships with authority are generally not going super great in this energy as a result of that, unless for whatever reason the authority is like kind of conscious of that and willing to give like as much sort of room and space to roam as necessary, unless they are not like, again, like over domineering, dominating, restrictive, controlling, then it might be all right. But for the most part, any type of like authority that is trying to impose some type of restriction to our freedom in this energy, it's just not going to go well, and it's going to cause some type of rebellion, most likely. People also, of course, tend to act rashly and impulsively, which can definitely lead to accidents in this energy. It's like we're moving so fast that we can overlook some of like the critical details or the critical danger. It's like we're sort of like having a conversation or thinking so fast and talking so fast that we're not paying attention where we're walking, and we like walk into a sign or something like that. You know what I mean? But that's the thing, like serious accidents are not necessarily indicated by this energy, and if they do happen, it's usually a direct result or correlation to our own personal carelessness. So as long as we are sort of like slowing down, trying to stay grounded, not being overly rash and overly impulsive, we have a pretty good chance of making it through without sort of drawing any like accidents or anything like serious like that to ourselves. But we do want to be careful with Uranus in effect, with Mars in effect, with working with any type of like super dangerous tools, sharp objects, hot objects, or like iron or steel specifically, especially if we're angry or if we're dealing with any like repressed resentment or hostility. These are the type of things that we kind of want to stay away from in this energy. And again, just make sure that we are not just being like bat out of hell, you know what I mean? Like that we are having a little bit of self-discipline, that we are sort of trying to slow ourselves down and take some deep breaths and not just like rush head first into anything. Like this is going to help us out in just navigating through this energy in the most like beneficial way. This transit though, it really is all about asserting individuality. Like that's what we're doing. That's what's happening at the end of the day. And that is what we need to be doing so that we can like work with the energy. Because if we're resisting it, if we're resisting the changes that are happening right now, if we're sort of trying to hide from all of this, it can really like sort of implode, and it can create some really not so good feelings going on within us that can then attract some not so positive experiences as universe is trying to shake us out of whatever is not suiting us, not fitting us, not in an authentic alignment with us. The best use of this energy is to begin something totally new and innovative. And, you know, this is happening in a basic alignment with the new moon in Leo, which is also a time for beginning new things in alignment with like our personal, creative, authentic self-expression, talking about the sign of Leo. So generally, this is across the board like a very good time right now to begin something that is totally new, like that we're very passionate about, maybe utilizing our creative energy. A project also would be a good thing with it being happening in the sign of Taurus, ruling projects. And it's best if it actually consumes like a great deal of our energy and of our focus. And also if it's something that we will be largely utilizing or identifying with when it is completed. Because, you know, like I was saying, like anywhere that we can put our energy, Mars, into doing or creating something that is representative of our authentic truth or of us asserting our individuality in some way that is actually going to help us embody that and step into it somehow in the future, like that is the type of stuff that is very, very supported in this energy. Recreating our foundation at this point in life by asserting our individuality. So, you know, that is really, if we're looking for a way to channel this energy, like that is probably one of the best things that we can do. This, of course, also represents shakeups, shocks, surprises, like I said, in all of these Taurus domains. And with the North Node, they're all amplified. This is a period of time right now, you guys, where we may see some major financial, economic, resource supply chain based unrest. There may be some major changes going on in terms of, you know, currency and value, and also like some big storms possibly that are really causing some destruction might be coming through right now. This transit, you guys, is really doing a lot to shift our personal and collective paradigms. Again, Taurus is an earth sign. It rules like the ground that we're standing on. It rules what we are building from the ground to support us and provide us like comfort and security and abundance in our lives. And when that very earth, that very ground that we're standing on, that supplies our food, that supplies our resources, that our structures are built on, that supplies our comfort and our financial stability and stuff like that, when this is being like impacted like this by Mars and Uranus in combination, you know, with the North Node also, you know, that means they're in opposition to the South Node. This is a radical shift away from the attachments of the past, from the ways of doing things of the past, from the past subconscious programming and the past mindsets and the past like deep emotions that we've held inside of us. This is a karmic clearing. This is a karmic cleansing. This is a karmic rectification. We are breaking generational karmic loops and traumas, and we are really, you know, Uranus, Mars on the North Node in Taurus. Like we are recreating the foundations that our life is built upon. And we have Saturn right now retrograde as well, also sort of talking about the same thing on an internalized level, like recreating our inner world, like recreating or evaluating what we want the foundations that we are building, that we are forming, that we are creating to look like. So it's just a period right now of some very, very intense dynamic changes that are playing out. If we look at the chart for July 31st, talking about when this aspect first comes into fruition, when Mars moves to 18 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus is, and the North Node is also at 18 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus is. The 31st of July, that's when Mars moves there. The Sun will be at 9 degrees of Leo that day in an exact trine to Jupiter. This is so auspicious, you guys. The Sun in trine to Jupiter, this is one of the absolute best and most supportive and most positive and most blessed, successful, lucky transits aspects that there is in astrology. So on one hand, we have one of the most unpredictable and combustible aspects in astrology that there is playing out, and right alongside of that we have one of the most auspicious, one of the most blessed, one of the most lucky. So we can rest assured, you guys, that despite how things appear on the surface right now, whatever is coming into fruition, whatever changes are happening, whatever shifts are underway, whatever we are creating, whatever foundation we are recreating, whatever implosion is going on for the purpose of a rebirth at this point in time, it is being divinely supported and it will have success in the long run. This is a blessed moment for this moment of this activation. There is a higher power that is facilitating the success of the changes that are underway right now. And because this is Uranus that we're dealing with, which is a silver lining planet and brings blessings in disguise, a lot of times when Uranus is operating, while in the moment it feels like the end of the world, but later when the smoke clears and things settle down and we can look around and catch our breath and realize, oh my gosh, this is actually everything that I've always wanted and what I've always worked toward but didn't know how I could get, or, you know, just experience like this sense of understanding that, oh my gosh, you know, everything that I just went through actually led me to something so much better than where I was, and I never could have got there on my own without this sort of galactic kick from universe in that direction. And that's what we have going on right now, and that is what this is indicating. It's realigning things in a way that is necessary to support our growth in alignment with our authentic potential and help us come into our full potential and activate our destiny. And ultimately this is going to lead to something that is very much so blessing us and very successful. And, you know, there's a lot of luck and support in whatever is unfolding in this energy right now. So we need to rest assured in that, despite how things may appear as this transit is in its moments of activation. The Sabian symbols on the 31st, when this aspect forms, 9 degrees of Leo, glass blowers shape beautiful forms with their controlled breathing. And then Jupiter retrograde in the sky right now, having just stationed retrograde, very possible. Jupiter retrograde is also about the return of like hope, the return of optimism, like blessing things in the past that were overlooked or never panned out, or, you know, things that we put a lot of faith and hope and trust and effort into, but then just sort of seemed like they were forsaken by the universe or forsaken by God or something, and we sort of moved on and cast them to the side. Well, when Jupiter goes retrograde, this can be like a second chance or a second opportunity, or, you know, those things that we put a lot of faith in the past that maybe never panned out, we will find all of a sudden like blow up when we have Jupiter going retrograde. Like that's sort of what Jupiter retrograde does. And Jupiter has just stationed to go retrograde, and so Jupiter is very, very powerful in the sky. And at 9 Aries, that Sabian symbol is a seer gazes intently into a crystal ball in front of them. And I feel like these two Sabian symbols, this trine in conjunction to this powerful conjunction we have going on, is talking about our ability to really, like, whatever is transpiring right now is really like the divine creation taking form, like the divine vision, the divine plan, the galactic blueprint taking form through this controlled activation of this uncontrolled energy. Very ironic sort of, but also, you know, it's all fitting together. Another very positive, auspicious component of this chart for the 31st, when we have Mars moving into alignment, is the moon will be in the sign of Virgo, in the mid-range of Virgo, forming an exact trine in earth signs to Mars, Uranus in the North Node at 18-19 degrees of the sign of Taurus. This is an earth sign trine. The moon there, this is a facilitating aspect. This is an assisting aspect. Again, cosmically facilitated and assisted. And in the earth signs, you guys, like this is stuff happening on the ground. Like this is things that are actually happening in our physical, tangible experience. This is manifestations of things coming into fruition. With the moon forming the trine, again, the facilitating, supporting aspect, there is an emotional cohesion sort of to whatever is transpiring in this energy. So we have the galactic blueprint being definitely activated and supported by the hand of God, by universe. Of course, we have the North Node in there indicating that as well, but this trine between the Sun and Jupiter being exact on this day at this moment, very much supportive of the ultimate overall success and growth in a positive direction of whatever is transpiring now. And with the moon in the trine as well, this is an emotional alignment with whatever is coming into place that is also facilitating whatever shifts are underway at this point in time right now. We also have to remember the Sabian symbol where we have this exact activation taking place, which will be 19 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a new continent is rising out of the ocean. Again, talking about the birth of this new age, this new era, this new landmass, this new world that is rising out of the ocean, that's rising out of the depths, that is rising out of the previous age of Pisces, and Uranus, ruler of the incoming age of Aquarius we are transitioning into now, and our shift and transition into that being activated by the energy of Mars in alignment with the North Node, amplified and divinely guided, talking about a new continent rising out of the ocean when we are specifically talking about releasing ourselves from the paradigm of the past, with this happening in opposition to the South Node as well. And so facilitated and blessed and expanded in alignment with spiritual truth also, and an ability to really take some big actions. Jupiter in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars. That's another thing. Like Jupiter being in the sign of Aries right now is directly working towards Mars's purpose. So this is massive energy, you guys. This is this also, though, of course, could bring these fires, could bring these storms, could bring some violence, could bring some fights, could bring some conflict, because it's not just, the positive courage, motivation, spiritual warrior, divine masculine aspect dimension of Mars that is being supersized. It's also the lower octaves of Mars as well. So it's going to be all over the spectrum, guys. But for the most part, this is playing a supportive role in helping us transition energetically and vibrationally into the age of Aquarius through this active assertion of our individuality and of our desire for freedom to align with that. And that is what is necessary also at this point in time as we are making this shift. And a new continent is rising out of the ocean. We are recreating ourselves, and we are recreating the foundations that we are going to build our future on. We're recreating our world. But in order to do that as well, we are undergoing this leveling as prerequisite to that. So, okay, on the 31st, we have the Sun in the exact trine to Jupiter. Really beautiful aspect, very supportive. The Moon in the trine to that conjunction of planets, also very supportive and facilitative of whatever happens. We also have Mercury right now in the sign of Leo, forming an opposition to Saturn on the 31st when this aspect begins to form. And this, again, is sort of maybe creating us to feel a little bit limited or restricted in our ability to express ourselves in a way that we feel like is in alignment with our personal creative self-expression. Mercury in the sign of Leo, this is the messenger planet. This is our mind. This is how we're thinking in Leo, personal creative self-expression. Opposite Saturn in Aquarius, there may be some type of rule or restriction, or we may feel like there's just some type of force that's exerting some type of power over our ability to express ourselves freely, and that also could be playing into whatever is transpiring in this energy. And lastly, in terms of very close aspects, exact aspects happening on the 31st, we have Venus forming a square to Chiron as well. So there is some type of heart healing that is ultimately wrapped up in this whole big shebang of energy that we have going on the 31st to start this activation. Now, as we move into August 1st, this is actually when the activation is going to come exact to the minute, and it's going to be happening at exactly 18 degrees and 42 minutes of the sign of Taurus. That is where Mars and the North Node, that is where Mars and Uranus will come into exact conjunction, 18 degrees and 42 minutes. And when that happens, at that moment, we also have some kind of interesting stuff going on with the other planets. First of all, we're going to have the Moon in Virgo forming an exact trine to Pluto. So at the exact to the minute moment of this activation, which is happening at 7:34 p.m. Eastern time on August 1st. 7:34 p.m. you guys, Eastern time adjusted for wherever you're at in the world. That is when this exact to the minute activation is going to be taking place. And again, 18 degrees, 42 minutes of the sign of Taurus. But at that moment, the moon will be in an exact 2-degree trine to Pluto, 28 degrees of Virgo for the moon, 28 degrees of Capricorn for Pluto right now. And that is a very important degree because that is actually the degree of the Pluto return of the United States. This is a degree representing revolution, essentially, and like Phoenix rising from the ashes, breaking down old established orders of things so that a new frontier can sort of begin to take place. It's a degree associated with the American Revolution in a lot of ways, and it's being very activated right now. And we have it activated in exact alignment with this Uranus Mars, and Uranus also rules revolution and rebellion. So this is a very revolutionary energy. This is a very revolutionary time that we are moving into, and it is representing not only a collective revolution, and things are really going to start to change on the macrocosm level on the world stage, I do believe, but also personally. We are each going through our own individual personal revolution in this energy as well. And asserting that individuality, actively asserting our individuality is a required part of the time that we are in right now in the context of this energy. Also, the moon in Virgo is going to be forming almost an exact opposition to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. So with the moon forming the trine to Pluto, this is actually very, very emotionally empowering, very intense, powerful, emotional experiences. Could also be very, very transformational in terms of our emotional body or what is going on within us or what we're experiencing, and also bringing the South Node into it, because again, this opposition or this conjunction is happening in opposition to the South Node. South Node is ruled by Pluto, also ruled by Mars, because it's in Scorpio right now. Scorpio has two rulers, Mars and Pluto. So the Scorpio dimension of things, the South Node is going to be both rulers will be being activated as this transit is coming exact. And of course, remember the South Node, this is where we are releasing ourselves from our past subconscious programming, from our past attachments, from our past places that we had been surrendering our power to anything and neglecting the truth of our authentic potential because of maybe some fears existing within us, or some insecurities or some doubts or some inabilities to see our own potential. Like, these are the type of things that are transforming within us at this point in time and may be assisting us to release ourselves from some of these maybe more negative or toxic patterns of the past that have held us back and kept us from this place of activating our destiny, rising into our true potential, all these things that are necessary as we are heading towards this age of Aquarius. But super emotionally empowering and transformative on an emotional level in the energy on Monday. Yeah, I believe it's Monday on the 1st when this energy comes exact. But we could also feel a bit disoriented or confused, like hard to tell the difference between fantasy and reality, or illusion in reality in this energy. With the moon also forming the opposition to Neptune, we may definitely be just experiencing a bit of disorientation in terms of like what is real and what is not as this type of thing is playing out. But again, it is working to empower us and to transform us on these deep internal emotional levels as well. We have also, and this is very auspicious as well, Venus is going to be in an exact sextile with Mars, Uranus in the North Node at the moment of their exact to the minute conjunction. And this is very beneficial because Venus in a sextile to Mars and Uranus as well, this is bringing in divinely aligned relationships, friendships. Like, this is having like a helping hand that just sort of like spontaneously comes out of nowhere, like relationships, friendships, partners that just sort of like show up and are exactly what we needed at exactly the right time to help us navigate whatever we're going through. Like, this is support. Like, this is universal support in the form of friends and connections and relationships, and also perhaps financial situations that just is spontaneously there for us randomly, unexpectedly, but that we really needed. And so I feel like this is a very, very good indication as well, having Venus in the sign of Cancer forming the exact trine to this aspect as it is coming exact to the minute. It's like things might be really crazy, things might be really chaotic. We might find ourselves in a situation that we never imagined in a million years we would find ourselves in, but we are also likely to draw in some very random or very spontaneous relationship that is very beneficial to us in the context of the circumstances for whatever reason. It might not be a long lasting thing. It might just be like a short term situation, but it will definitely be supportive of whatever we got going on in this energy. So that is another positive. It's like we have all of this like tumultuousness and all of this chaos and all of this like combustible energy and all this dynamism and all this eruption, but we simultaneously are getting so much support from God and universe to help us with these changes, to help us navigate these changes, and to help us like rest assured that the outcome of them will be successful, will be benevolent, will be supported, will be ultimately blessed. The sun is also still in a trine to Jupiter at the exact moment of this activation to the minute, although 1 degree orb now, the sun will be at 10 degrees of Leo for the exact to the minute conjunction. That Sabian symbol is early morning dew, salutes the sunrise. So this is talking about, like after the night, after the shadows, after the fears and the worries and not being able to see, or the confusion, or just the dark night of the soul perhaps that maybe we've been experiencing. Like the sun is coming, and this cleansing and this refreshment and this purification in alignment with the return of the light that is shining down on us. Like that's where we're moving. Early morning dew salutes the sunrise. Like we are releasing ourselves from this darkness, from these negative attachments, from these self-sabotaging patterns, from these karmic loops, and we are being purified, cleansed, and restored, and open to stand in the light. And that is what is coming. We are in a Leo cycle, you guys. This is about the light shining, and this is about allowing our inner light to shine through as well. And that ultimately is what this is helping to do, is ignite the inner light within us that may have been turned off for a long period of time, as we were sort of basking in the glow of the light of others around us, maybe, or society or culture or government, or any of that type of stuff. Now it's time for us to light our own individual light bulb, like ignite our own flame, find our passion, pursue it, step into our truth, activate our destiny, become the best version of ourselves that we can be, because that is what is happening in the age of Aquarius. It's all about activating personal potential, activating destiny, so that we can ultimately serve our true potential to the greater good of humanity. And when all of us are operating out of that octave and serving our gifts and blessings and talents to the world, we are also attracting and receiving that which truly makes us feel alive and gives us genuine, authentic purpose and feeds our soul and brings us that true form of fulfillment. And we are creating, each of us, our own individual golden age as we move towards the age of Aquarius, as we transition to the age of Aquarius, as we shift our frequency, our vibration in alignment with this new paradigm and the laws of this incoming reality. We are there is a massive benefit to be reaped through this process, and universe is pushing us in that direction at this point in time, whether we like it or not. So we just need to have faith, the sun in a trine to Jupiter, that we're heading in the right direction, and the outcome of this is going to be better probably than we ever could have imagined. The last aspect that I want to talk about is a yod, actually a finger of God aspect that we have going on between Pluto and Capricorn, Neptune and Pisces, and also Mercury and Leo. And this aspect also, I feel like, is talking about the creative release and transformation of the mind. So there's a lot of release, there's a lot of transformation going on in this chart, in this weekend, in this activation. In terms of our emotional body, we are, really perhaps uncovering some deep truths about our own psyche, and through that process, releasing ourselves from some type of subconscious programming that maybe has been keeping us out of our power and causing us to sort of surrender that authentic truth. And also in terms of our mind, also in terms of this yod that we have going on right now. Again, creative release and transformation through the mind in Leo, creative self-expression expressed through our speech and our writing and our thinking and our communicating, all of this type of stuff. Pluto, also Neptune, some type of major purge, purification, release, transformation of the mindsets of the past. So it's happening in our emotional body, it's happening in our mental body. We're talking about our actual energy body. Again, like energy could be through the roof, like nervous tension, anxiety, like panic attacks and stuff like that could really be going on in this energy as well. But ultimately, it is leading us to a place where we are more actively able to assert our individuality, to become our authentic truth, to revert back into the original authentic version of ourselves, to sort of break ourselves out of any places that we have been sacrificing our truth as a result of some type of negative consequences to our security or our safety or, our relationship dynamics and stuff like that. Everything's being rectified. Everything's being changed. The ground is being leveled. The tower is crumbling and coming down, you guys, but it's for the purpose of this redesign, this rebuild that is so much better, that is so much more blessed, that is in such greater alignment with who we are, who we're meant to become, and honestly, like the truth of our actual destiny. That is what this is about. Like, it's no more, we're not in a place anymore where universe, God, Great Spirit is cool with us just sort of like half-assing it. Like, we're at a point right now where we are being called back into our power. We are being called back into our truth, and we are being called to answer that call and to sort of like take our life, by the horns or whatever you call it, and really like steer it forward in a consciously created way where we are no longer like at the whim of this subconscious programming that is just creating these scenarios, that is bringing us more of our trauma so that we can gain an awareness of it. No, we're doing the work to clear, heal, transcend out of our states of victimhood into states of self-mastery, to purify, purge, transcend, transform our emotional body, our energy body, to reprogram our subconscious mind so that we can become the conscious creators of our reality going forward in alignment with God's spirit and universe, and create this new golden age era through each of us doing that for ourselves individually, and then it extrapolating outwards. And over this next 2,000 years, bam, 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 that is how we create the age of Aquarius. That is where we're going. And that is what is being activated in this transit and this weekend. So you guys, let's do a synchronicity card now. Just what would benefit us as this weekend's energy is playing out, as this action is playing out, as this transit is playing out. Another thing that I should say about this transit, which I've been saying over the past couple weeks, but I haven't mentioned in this video yet, is like, things may not be popping off right now in a way that is just like, I mean, this is mind-blowing energy across the board, and I bet things are really sort of just like wild right now. But this is also energy where, like, looking back, like in the grand scheme of things, that's another thing. Jupiter trine the sun. This is the whole picture. This is the overall view. This is the bird's eye perspective. This is the elevated viewpoint. Like, this is the whole enchilada, like the whole picture. Like, looking back, when we look back at this period of time, like this summer will likely be sort of like, I've already said this in one of my reports I did, but it will be like the first domino that fell in creating this reaction that leads to like this ultimate revolution in one way or another. And again, coming back to this revolutionary energy, that's where we're at. That's what this is doing. And so now let's get a word of advice from God, universe, Great Spirit, to just, what do we need to know as we are navigating this energy? What advice can we benefit from the most as we are going through this period of time? So let's see what the cards have to say. These are synchronicity cards, by the way, you guys. That's what they are called. They are called synchronicity cards, and they are by Jana Shellman. And I believe that she has these for sale. So, and she's in my comments a lot of times. So if you find her there and you sent her a message, oh, here's one, she might be happy to sell you some synchronicity cards. Okay, and this is like so ironic because first of all, it just like, I just shuffled significantly longer than normal to get a card to come out. Usually it doesn't take that much of shuffling to get a card to jump out for us. And then the card that does come out says wait, which actually is like very contradictory to what we probably feel like doing in this energy, which to me is why it makes so much sense. And again, like I was saying, we need to try to slow down, take some deep breaths, and not like rush ahead, because that is what can lead to accidents in this energy, just being too impulsive, too rash, too hasty, not thinking things through properly. So the advice from God, universe, spirit, as we navigate this energy, it says, wait on the Lord and he shall save thee. Proverbs 20:22. Relax, let go, and let God. Don't struggle to make things happen before they are ready to happen. Wait and be assured everything is working together for your good. Now is not the right time to advance. Wait in faith and expectancy of the very best. Know that when the time comes to advance, you will be directed to say and do the right thing. So that's our advice, you guys. Whatever is playing out, whatever is going on right now, universe is kind of telling us like to wait, to not just impulsively take some type of sudden, like spontaneous action. Our guidance over this next couple days as this energy plays out is to wait. And it's also interesting because if you guys see that, it's Proverbs 20:22. We have a 222 going on there, which of course we're in a 222 year, and that is some important numerology right now. And this is also reminding me of a mantra that I like to use for myself, and saying that God is never late. God is always on time. And so whatever is playing out, if we're in a situation about something, like we just need to realize like God is always on time. God is never late. We need to hold the faith. That is very, very supported right now with Jupiter ruling faith in a trine to the sun. We need to hold on to our faith and not just overreact to something based on like, what's that called? Like a hair split reaction or something like that. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but whatever. You guys know what I mean. So that is what we have going on. That is the message. That is all about this transit, all about the way that it's playing out in the context of the other planets that are present for the activation this weekend. And our message from God is to wait. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope that you like this video and I was able to provide something for you that can help you in your travels this weekend over the course of, this period of time and going forth throughout the summer. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this and be interested too. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. Very, very grateful for all of you being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. And come back with me, you guys. My next video that is going to be out, I believe, is going to be my video for August. I have a lot going on right now, and I am not exactly sure 100% that I will have a video out on the 1st for my August video. I might need to take a day. It might not be until Tuesday, but if that is the case, you can reapply this video because July 31st and August 1st were the main focal points of the energy for this video, and I did talk about the energy for August 1st as well. But my next video, I do believe, will be my my August overview. We're already in August. Oh my goodness. So I'll be back, you guys. I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Wishing you guys a beautiful weekend, and until next time, bye guys.